Time to talk football. Guess what we're talking about today?
I don't know what that intro was.
I don't know. Let's talk. Like and subscribe. So,
let's do a couple announcements that we do have to talk about with the podcast and these.
Okay, so the first announcement is that Cody is finally admitting to the world. I'm not even
That I
gonna
won?
I'm not going to say that. Cody got an announcement about the trophy.
People are now going to be like, that's going to be like some cult. Man, what was he talking about?
That'd be awesome. It'd be awesome if it started it.
It has nothing to do with anything. Like, there's no... So you can do that, but...
Tell him about the trophy.
But we're doing trophies now for the months.
Yeah.
So whenever you win... So whenever you win the month, you get a trophy. And I beat you last week 4-1.
Of course he did.
But...
Which I predicted.
So I got the... I'm starting to think you lack confidence in certain sports, so you just don't...
I lack confidence in life.
I hope there's a poisonous spider that just crawls down from there and just bites my damn ankle.
All I can imagine is a spider stopping and looking at you and just leaping at you like that. Okay, tell him about the trophy.
We get 12 trophies through the year, because obviously there's 12 months.
Really?
What?
I'm just joking, come on. I said come on like I'm not interrupting.
Smash it against the...
I said come on like I'm not interrupting you. Alright, for real, we'll get it done. Yeah, we get 12 trophies throughout the year, because there's 12
Hey,
months.
go ahead, we'll get it done. Come on, dude.
Alright, go ahead. I won't interrupt you.
There's 12 months, so you get 12 trophies. At the end of the year, however many trophies you don't have is how many forfeits you have to do.
Yeah.
And we'll have a new segment called the 12 Days of Forfeits, kind of like the 12 Days of Christmas. Of course, it won't be in December because we started in February.
Yeah, so I guess it would be next February is when it would be.
So that's what this is leading into.
And then, if you skunk somebody 5-0 in a week during one of the months, you get to take one of their trophies away.
Mm-hmm.
So
it'll get really competitive and really
the rest of this year, I'm going to skunk Cody 5-0.
And we'll start entering each other so we can't.
Don't tell me that. Don't tell me we can do that.
Like during the...
You know what I think we need to revisit?
During the football thing,
football strength test.
I should just got up and sprinted and just dove down into your Achilles with my elbow. What are we talking?
If you were that accurate with your elbow into my Achilles, that'd be the greatest thing.
Why would I jump to the side?
I don't know. We need to do the football strength test again.
No, because that was horrible.
That still might have been the most painful, other than the last one we did last week where we ripped the tape off of my head.
Was that really that bad?
It was awful. I was crying when you were doing it. It actually, I don't cry about it a lot. That hurt. We thought it was going to be one of the funniest ones. Being the worst.
We have to find another way. Somebody has to succeed.
But
what are we doing today?
Today we're doing a
we're also doing a podcast.
Oh, right. Yeah, starting tomorrow, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays every week, which is our baseball, our basketball, and our hockey. We're going to be doing a podcast. We're going to go to podcast one instead, mainly because those are in season. Okay, those are in season. So basketball playoffs are close. Stanley Cup playoffs are close. Once those two sports are done, we'll probably adopt soccer in.
Yep.
Maybe not football yet until it gets closer to the season. So we might only have two podcasts. I don't know. We'll wait and see. We'll figure it out.
And if we only have two, we'll do something extra.
Yeah, because there's some other ideas that I have that I'd love to do.
Maybe movies. We've mentioned Walking Dead a couple times. Maybe we'll do of course it's kind of late to do
movie shows. We could do movies. We could do well, anyway, I'm not going to announce any of that stuff that I'm interested in right now because you guys.
Yeah, because we're not even.
You're worried about what we're going to talk about today. So for the days we do podcasts, we're going to release our challenge videos, and then the sports that we're not doing podcasts for, we're still going to have our normal sports talk videos and our challenge videos for those days. But today we're getting into a top 10 list.
Top 10 most
hated players. Most of them are current players. A couple of them are older players. It just, I kind of went through some different stuff.
I've heard all these
thought about players that I knew of. Kind of went through some other people's lists. just a big collection of stuff, and I kind of wrote 10 down.
Now, how do you want to do this? Do you want to trade off, or?
We can trade off. I know I didn't write down like the full thing about them. I can kind of go deeper into it.
That's fine.
But,
you want to do the first one or the second one?
Okay, the first one.
Yeah, you better do that because I don't want to go into number 8.
Well, we will. The first one is Vontaze Burfict. Now, a lot of people that watch the NFL are going to know who he is. They know how dirty he is. He's, giving some people some season-ending injuries.
Did he play for the Bengals?
Yeah, he plays for the Bengals still. He's known for targeting,
he was dirty,
hitting people helmet to helmet. Not only that, he just doesn't care. You can tell when he does it that he thinks it's, I don't know if he thinks it's funny, but he doesn't care that, he's hurting people. I think he tries to, personally. But I have him at number 10. Now, he hasn't had anything off the field, so that's why I have him so low on the list.
I'm concerned when he doesn't play football anymore. What's he going to do?
Yeah, I know. What's he just going to, all I can picture now is him sprinting down a street, just going head face first into somebody else's face.
I mean, if there are players like that have to be violent,
yeah,
and they have no reaction to it, and that's like they're out for them, like a release. Everybody has a release in life, whatever they do.
Now, of course, we don't know what he does off the field.
No, but you said he hasn't gotten in trouble. But
no. So I mean,
I don't know.
He's known as a dirty player, but not a lot of issues off the field, so that's why I have him lower on the list.
Well, then you got Adam Pac-Man Jones.
Oh yeah.
But this guy's had several problems. He played for the Dallas Cowboys for a long time.
Yeah, he played for so many other teams. Bengals. He played for the Bengals too. All kinds of teams.
He's been suspended and fined for several different criminal actions.
A lot, man.
And he just keeps coming back. Here's what I don't get with the NFL. I don't understand how somebody keeps having infractions to your rules, but then they keep coming back.
But then other players will get in trouble twice, and then they'll be banned for life. It doesn't make sense.
We talked about the AAF before. We talked about certain people wanting to implement fighting.
Yeah.
In the sport. What the hell?
It's stupid.
So we're concerned about domestic violence.
Yeah.
But then we want to implement more fighting?
I know. It doesn't make sense.
Like in hockey in the NHL, they do that. Well, the hockey doesn't have a string of domestic violence with their players.
Yeah.
I've never heard of domestic violence. Maybe it's because I don't know. I've just never heard of domestic violence.
I don't know. You're right. I don't know what it is.
It's mainly just football.
It is mainly football with domestic violence. I don't know if it has something to do with. Well, you can't say it's the violence of the sport because hockey's violent.
Maybe the way the players are run. Maybe the
way they're brought up.
Maybe it's the culture of the football organization.
Could be. I don't really know.
And I'm a sociologist, so maybe I should go into that. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a whole segment on it.
I guarantee you he's gotten arrested 20 times. I guarantee it in his career.
Go ahead and go to this next idiot.
So this one's probably the most dividing on the list. Colin Kaepernick.
Let's just get into it. We wanted to avoid things like this for a long time, but
I'm gonna push the anthem protest to the side for a second. We'll get into that. Here's what makes me mad. I'm a 49ers fan. I defended this guy when they drafted him. He was fine for a while.
Good.
He was fine for a while, and then all of a sudden he loses his mind. I don't know. I think it was because he wasn't playing. He was mad because he had had a few successful seasons, and then all of a sudden he wasn't playing, and he was a backup. He tried to get some way to get notoriety.
And his girlfriend.
Now, I guess on the field he was known kind of as a showboat. I don't even care about that.
Who cares?
A lot of players are like that. Whatever.
Cam Newton does that.
Cam Newton acts like that, whether you like him or not. I mean, that's just how some players are.
I really don't care. I mean,
now, get into the big one, the anthem protest stuff. We gave you an example of an anthem protest that made sense. The college basketball players that did it.
We didn't like them doing that, but we understood.
But we understood the reason they did it.
Yeah.
His reason, even if you even believe what he said, which I don't, I think it was to get attention. I think that's the only reason he did it.
Yeah, I think that's why he did it.
He talks about it's not for the money. He's doing it to do this. Well, then why was he suing in the NFL? It makes no sense to me.
You may tell you why I think it was for attention. Because he didn't go out into community. He hadn't been doing charity work.
Yeah.
I don't know what type of charity.
Somebody said, he gave $1 million to a charity. Okay, I mean, anybody with money.
I'm talking about going out and getting your freaking hands dirty and doing something.
Yeah.
Anybody can. I can take a microphone like I'm doing now. I can do this. I can put a camera up in front of me like we're doing now.
Yeah.
And just run my mouth.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we are voicing our opinion about this.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't even really voice his opinion. He kind of did through a certain action. But he hadn't been doing any like community type work.
No.
He hadn't been going out and doing things. And let me put it this way: if he had gone out and done community work, and people had turned him down, talked down to him over and over and over and over, and nobody was helping him, and then he did this, I could sit there and go, well, maybe he's trying to bring attention
to a certain aspect
to him doing this, so he could get more support, so he could help these people.
Yeah.
But he had never done that. He just showed up one day and just kneeled, and then they asked him about it. Well, I'm protesting the, I don't know what he said.
But you're not fixing any problem.
And then people's reactions to it. Well, he's bringing awareness. I can bring awareness to anything. It doesn't mean it's going to solve anything.
And does he have the right to do it? Yeah.
Yes.
He can do it.
But
that doesn't make it a right decision.
We're not disputing that.
No.
He can do it.
No, yeah.
But that doesn't mean I have to agree with it.
But that's the reason I said that, because that's what people always say.
Here's our point. I don't want to just stop talking about this because this is a big one.
Yeah.
But people argue, well, kneeling during the national anthem, for us, I'll just say, and I can't speak on this because maybe I can, maybe I can't. People within a lot of the black people within the black community will say things like, well, it doesn't mean this because of this. And Whitlock talked about it. You know, certain people, same thing with the rebel flag.
Yeah.
People from the black community just view it straight as just straight racism. But people from maybe that community don't feel it's the same way.
Yeah.
So maybe you just have conflicting like cultural interests there.
Yeah, I mean.
Here's my viewpoint on it. When you're kneeling in front of the flag is still there. It's there. If you kneel during any other time, whatever, I guess they feel like they have to do it then because that's when the most attention is on them then.
Yeah.
But instead of protesting during the anthem, why can't you go out and raise awareness by doing things in your community?
Yeah.
Why can't you go out and get on national television and do something by like bringing attention to these aspects, because they should be.
Oh yeah.
If there are things that are going on where your community is not being brought up,
yeah.
Because there are a lot of black neighborhoods that do need help, just like white neighborhoods do, but things need people to bring it up. They don't need people to go out and just straight sow division in the community,
No.
and that's why I don't like Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he didn't help here. All he did, people said, well, he created an argument. But that's all he did. He created an argument.
It was just there.
With no solution.
Yeah.
He created an argument with no solution. I can do that. I can stand up on stage and say, Joe Biden did this the other day, talking about politics. We said we weren't going to do it, but I guess this leads into that. Joe Biden the other day came out and said, white men need to change the way they are. Dude, if you looked in the mirror,
but he's not offering a solution to the.
That's my point.
Yeah, he's not offering.
I can come out and say,
to it.
I can come out and say,
well, this group does this.
that guy over there, that guy's a piece of crap. Why? He just sucks.
Yeah, he just is.
Yeah. But okay, so what are we gonna do about it? Have a good day.
You know, something else that happened was, the Players Association was talking to the NFL during this whole thing.
You told me about that. Does this have to do with Anquan Bolden?
Yeah, the guys that it was a safety. Who was the safety? I can't remember. Anyway, it doesn't matter who it was. Malcolm Jenkins, I think. It was one of those guys.
Yeah, I think.
But they were working with the NFL on trying to do community outreach for communities that need stuff like that.
Now we're going.
They got the NFL to donate this much money to these many things and this things, and then they got called sellouts because it was only for the money. Yeah, I can't.
What?
What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do?
I thought that was the point. Was it not?
I thought it was too.
So the point is to not help these communities. They don't give a crap.
No.
All they want to do is bring popularity to themselves.
Yeah.
That's all they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think Anquan Bolden actually, that's his name, right?
Anquan Bolden.
Baldwin keeps.
Bolden.
Anquan Bolden used to play the Ravens. He played for the 49ers
too. Yeah.
But he came out and he tried to get a solution done because he cared.
Yeah.
He wanted to help these communities,
mm-hmm.
which you should. You should want to help these people. I don't want people to suffer.
No.
So let's go out and do something.
Yep.
Let's create, and maybe, you know what, if we start making money, maybe that'll be something we could do.
I want to. I'd love to be able to do stuff
maybe
like
we
that.
could make a positive impact on something like this.
I'd love to do something like that. It'd be That's something I've always wanted to do.
I already know. I already know what people are going to say. We don't need white knights in our community giving us money.
I know.
I ignore those people.
And you know what's bad about that? Mainly white people are the ones who say that to other white people.
I don't, and the people being helped, they don't say that because they want your help.
Yeah, they want help. They need help.
Those people that are just stupid like that, I just ignore.
Yep.
If I were Anquan Bolden, I would say, fine.
They did. I mean, it wasn't. They didn't really even like argue back and forth. I mean, they got the deal done and it was done.
I would just say to those people, fine. I'm done with you. I don't care. I'm not I'm not helping you anymore. I'm not dealing with you anymore.
Yep.
I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Because that's just stupid. You need to create solutions instead of creating arguments. If you're going to create an argument, have a solution involved.
Yeah.
If you don't, then all you're doing is just creating.
See, when you argue with people, that's something that I cannot stand. Is when they'll make claims and then they don't have a solution to the problem that they come up with.
People did
hate it.
People did that in college all the time.
Hate it.
When I was in college classes, everybody always acted because they were young adults, and we still are. But you got people that would just show up in class. These people are just terrible people. Okay, so how do we fix that? You know what? What are they doing that's bad? They're bad. Okay, why?
Yeah, but and how do we change it? Like, I don't.
Well, if you don't agree with me, then you're bad too. What? You're not giving.
I didn't even say I didn't agree with you on it.
That's not even sane.
No.
To think that way.
No.
And that right there has to do with a lot of things in our society. How we have a lot of division right now, and you got two sides that are emerging from this. A side that just screams and yells, that has problems with everything that goes on.
And another side that doesn't want to change anything at all.
Well, I'm talking about level-headed and extremists.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
And you got one side that's just crazy, and then you got one side that has a level head, and if they don't even agree with this side on anything.
Yeah, it could be they could agree with them on 15 different things if they don't agree with them on the 16th.
All of a sudden they're a white supremacist.
I mean, you know.
Like
there's even been some African American.
Was it Chris Rock that came out the other day?
Yeah, he was talking about the Jesse's. I don't know.
Even if you agree or disagree with what's going on in society, the guy was found guilty of doing something wrong. Well, he wasn't found guilty.
Okay, guilty, but not, yeah.
But he was caught red-handed doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And he was let off.
Mm-hmm.
And people who have level heads are going, wait a minute. This guy cried wolf and he didn't even get in trouble?
And you know what I said after he got let off? I said, you know who should want his head more than anybody? The gay community should want his head more than anybody, because those are the people it's going to hurt. It's not going to hurt me in the future. Like that's not going to affect me at all. I don't know. People talk about privilege. That's privilege. What happened?
It is. It's dumb. Privilege has nothing to do with a certain skin color. It's
money is a big thing with
the
privilege.
person. Mm-hmm. People are focusing too much on the wrong thing.
Yep.
We got to move past through some of those issues. We're going to head to a certain conflict here pretty soon. It's going to happen. It's bad. You can't have this much argument without a conflict.
No.
It doesn't happen.
No. I mean, you've already had like smaller violent things happen. So I mean, it just leads to a larger one.
And the media doesn't help.
Nope.
Because I guess we're part of the media.
They
now.
just stoke the fire. Yeah, but we're not. Well, anyway, we want to move on to the next player. I mean, that's a lot to talk about, but it's something that needs to be talked about.
Let's go to Jim McMahon.
Just me or you?
Me. You talked about Colin Will. We both talked about it. I've heard of this guy.
He played quarterback for the Bears in the 80s.
Didn't hear of him very much because I wasn't born around then, but
Yeah.
I did see videos of him, how people couldn't stand him. He was like a Johnny Manziel in the 80s.
But he was like extreme Johnny
Yes.
Manziel. Like where Johnny Manziel tried to hide the things he did wrong.
I feel like things weren't as I don't know, constricted as they were today. I don't even want to say constricted, looked at or controlled as much.
Yeah, well, not to mention today you have social media, which makes everything known right away.
This guy, he would drink, but he was like a WWE like clown in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how else to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying WWE people are clowns. I'm saying he acts like somebody would if they were in a wrestling match in the WWE and then he came out here.
And it was like set up and fixed, but he did it for real. Yeah. He drank beer.
If I was Mike Ditka, I know he wouldn't like stuff like
Mike
that.
Ditka was mean, man. I wouldn't want to mess with Mike
He wore headbands in defiance of the commissioner.
Yeah.
And then he would moon.
For example, like Nike was the sponsor of the NFL or something like that. So he would wear like Adidas headbands. Like, what is it? Doesn't even. What's the point? I mean, come on, man.
Why?
You can have Adidas as your sponsor. You can do commercials for them. You just can't wear their stuff during NFL games. It's
just going on the next one. That guy's just an idiot.
Yeah, moon the TV cameras. I mean, come on.
That guy's just stupid.
3?
Yes, that guy's just stupid.
Anyway, Jack Tatum now. He was a great player. He played for the Raiders in the 70s. Now the thing is he had 2 instances that pretty much overshadowed anything he did as a player. The one I didn't write down that he did was the immaculate reception that Franco Harris did with the Steelers in the 70s, where the ball bounced back to him and he caught it.
Yes.
He did a dirty hit on a guy in that play. And then this one's the most ridiculous one. He paralyzed a man, Darryl Stingley, in a preseason game. What are you doing? Why?
Does he even care?
I don't think so.
You
He enjoyed doing stuff like that. That's why people couldn't stand him. A preseason game now.
James, I would make it my mission. If somebody did that to a person, I would make it my mission during that game. I would hurt that guy.
I just don't get it. I don't understand how you could enjoy
I would rip his helmet off and beat him
doing
with
stuff
it.
like that.
I would rip his helmet off and beat him with it if I ever took him to the ground. Why would you? If he doesn't care that he paralyzed somebody,
I don't think he does.
then he's just an awful person.
He is. He's terrible. We'll get into somebody
He's
later
a worthless
on
human.
Kind of like that too. Okay.
How do you... Tom Brady.
You can keep going into that if you want.
Now, this one isn't even really... He hasn't done anything near as bad as these players.
No.
I guess Colin Kaepernick didn't... Well, I don't know. Colin Kaepernick did do something stupid, but he didn't hurt him. I guess, yeah, he did. Anyway, Tom Brady for winning.
Winning's a big one, but he had all the scandals, the tuck rule, the deflate gate, the thing where they were spying on the other team, whatever, with the film and practice, all that other stuff. I still think the winning stuff is probably what makes people hate him more than anything.
Because look at Baker Mayfield. If I call him Baker because he played.
Bake.
But when you look at Baker Mayfield, whenever he started to win, people took exception to that. And when you're dominant like that, people hate you because they can't attain what you're doing. They can't reach that level.
Oh yeah.
And I remember when he lost to Georgia, he didn't really lose. I mean, he put up unbelievable numbers. The defense.
I know what you're saying.
But there were Georgia players going, "Humble yourself." Well, I guess you got humbled when you played in the final, and then last year when you didn't make the.
He's just a competitive guy, man. He just wants to win.
So when you win, you're supposed to. I guess here's what you're supposed to do when you win. Here's what you're supposed to do. I got the trophy.
But when you lose, you're supposed to do the same thing.
All right.
See you later. All right, so we're going to go on to the next player. Whenever I could see half of your body in the window when you said that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
There were old people out there that were staring at me. I don't know why. I don't know why there was like a group of old people. There was a group of old people down there, and they watched me. And I turned around for a second when I walked out of the door, and they all just looked at me like that. Why is it weird that I opened the door?
I don't know. Let's go on to the next player.
I don't even know who were Michael Vick.
Michael Vick. Now, of course, he had the dogfighting thing. A lot of people had him number 1 on their list, which I don't quite get because. Yeah, it's completely awful what he did.
Yeah,
but he's changed. He hasn't gotten in trouble since then, and he's done charity work to help dogs and things like that. So, the fact that he hadn't gotten in trouble since
at least he's trying to
shows that he's trying to, change what he did. And there's people up to the end of his career that were still protesting his games. People, he served his time. He did what he had to do. The only reason you were doing that is because he was a high-profile figure. If there was a guy, just Johnny, out in this apartment complex that went to prison for it, you wouldn't even nobody would even know who he was.
Anyway, you get your
So I mean, there's not a lot more to say about.
I don't understand what this is for. Submarining multiple.
Submarining. So basically, he would go into franchises
and
cause so much
them?
division, and he would just destroy them.
Okay, yeah, I get it.
Um,
I don't know why I couldn't.
Because it's a weird term you don't hear very often.
His attitude, he was kind of a showboat, and but you know that whatever. But his attitude, he just kind of had like a jackass mentality type attitude.
He did. Numbers wise, he probably should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I think it took him, to his third or fourth attempt before they actually put him in the Hall of Fame.
Have you seen him outside of the football league?
Yeah.
He acts normal.
He's normal.
James, sometimes I wonder if players do that just to bring publicity.
Part of him I feel bad for because he had a friend that blackmailed him after he got out of football, and he lost a lot of money. And not over anything he did, it was because of a friend that he trusted. Yeah, outside of football, like on his reality show and stuff, he was fine. I don't know what it was. Sometimes people get around things, and I guess, I don't know, I guess it just makes him act a different way. I don't...
Like this guy that we talked about, Vontez Perfect. You said nothing happens to him off the field.
No, he hasn't.
I don't know if it's...
I don't think he's had any off the field that I can, that I could find or that I can think of.
Like either this is a release for him to do things like that, or there's something going on with the league and the people he's surrounded by.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to go on to Conrad Dobler?
Yeah, Conrad Dobler. Dobler or Dobler, I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
I think it's Dobler.
Okay, this is a guy that I had heard the name, but I didn't know a lot about until I started looking at some stuff up. He played in the 70s. He was an interior offensive lineman, so a guard or a center. The crazy thing about him and what he did, now he was another guy that tried to hurt people. What was crazy about him is that he would admit it. He told the media that he did it. He might be the only player I've ever seen that would actually admit to trying to intentionally.
I want to laugh at it. It's so stupid.
And you could tell by looking at him, he was just a mean dude. He had like the mustache, the Fu Manchu, is that what they call it? And I mean, he just.
I mean, I'm not a jerk. Of course, I guess I grew it all. I guess if you don't grow it all the way out,
kind of a beard.
I guess what happens is if you grow it to a certain point and you leave it.
The length is what does it. If it like grows out here and then down.
Yeah.
Yours just kind of goes like this.
Like if you got like the Batman going on.
Batman.
You're like a heroic figure in society. But if you don't, and you got like the Asian sadistic like BDSM like mustache, then basically what you got going on is I'm just.
So basically, you're calling yourself Batman. Is what you're doing.
That's better than the other one.
We need to get you a signal.
That's better than the other one I described.
We need to get like a signal we put up in the sky.
Yeah, put it in this trophy, like have it shoot.
But yeah, that was Conrad Dobler. Just a mean old dude.
Old Dobes.
Old Dobes.
Old Dobie.
Number 1.
Dobby. This one I've heard a lot about.
Oh yeah.
Bill Romanowski.
Mm-hmm.
He had an interview just here recently. He actually acted like James, he almost even admitted to him having a problem.
Yeah. Even back in the day, he said that. And he admitted that he enjoyed it. He enjoyed the publicity that came with it.
He said on camera that he said he really couldn't even control it. It's like he started off not like that, and he said eventually he felt like he had to do that because he started getting more and more attention.
Yeah.
And he felt like and then it just engulfed him, and he couldn't control it anymore.
For example, when he went to the Raiders, he said,
yeah.
I'm the dirtiest player in football. I'm on the dirtiest city now, so I guess we got something in common. It's like,
and I don't want to. You sounded just like him too. And I don't want to say, I don't want to take the blame off of him.
Yeah.
But and maybe it's just because football's so popular, these people get stardom, and then they just feel like they're.
That was my foot. Sorry.
They just feel like they're untouchable.
Yeah.
And some of these players, maybe it just gets to their head and they just don't know how to handle it.
Because a lot of these guys, when you look at them, they're like that on the field, and then off the field they're different. I mean,
he hasn't done anything off the field that I know of.
He spit in players' faces.
Yeah.
He punched a teammate during practice. A lot of
multiple hits after the whistle.
Dirty hits after the whistle. Just all kinds of, and he embraced it. That's why I had those two at the top. Because they embraced what they were doing.
And if you talk about the number one most dirtiest coach of all time, might go with Joe Madden. Madden. He was the coach of the Raiders at the time. Did you watch some of the hits when he was the coach?
Yeah.
Some of the worst hits I've ever seen.
I know.
But anyway, guys, we're doing the podcast now and stuff like that. We mentioned that.
Yeah. No.
Always leave a comment if you want to have a discussion. I know we talked about some controversial things in our videos, but you have to have a level head when you discuss things with people.
Yeah,
we're trying to move
I don't have
past.
any problem with having discussions with people. It's perfectly fine.
You have to move past being angry all the time and be able to talk to people. It's the only way you can get through things.
Yeah.
I get tired of people.
There's always going to be people out there that disagree with you and you disagree with them.
That's the point. The only way you get through it is to discuss.
One thing we like about America, that's just, there's a lot of other countries where people don't have that option to discuss things.
That's why
like
we
that.
take exception to certain things that we discussed in this video.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, I guess that's it with Cody and James Constant Sports. Make sure to like, subscribe,
Hit that notification bell.
leave us a comment.
Yep. I guess that's it.
We'll see you
Guys, have a
next
good
week.
day.
Yeah.